ICE is out here raiding people's apartments. I was driving to the office this morning. I saw the ICE truck. And I also saw a lot of police officers on the motorcycles. So you guys, please stay indoor and be silent. Even if they knock on your door, do not say a word. Like, just stay indoor at this point. Do not come out. Because they are literally targeting Hispanics. Because all the cars that got pulled over this morning, I believe over 30 cars got pulled over this morning. And they were all Hispanics. So just be mindful and beware of your surrounding at this moment, because they are out here looking for you guys. Like, this is insane.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Joy Report. If you're new here, karibu. If you're a channel subscriber, thank you so much for clicking. In this channel, we mostly talk about current news happening all around the world. And in today's video, we are going to talk about the ICE raids that are happening in the United States. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please consider subscribing, sharing this video, and also liking it so that YouTube may recommend it to a wider audience. And so if you are on TikTok, you've definitely seen videos of ICE raiding people while they're on the road just driving. People are being profiled at airports and so many other places. And so I'm going to play a few clips, and then when I come back, we'll go straight into my commentary. But before then, I would love to hear your opinion. So please go down in the comment section and let's keep the discussion going. For now, let's watch together.
If you're Hispanic American and you're not white passing, make sure you carry a picture of your passport. One of my friends in LA and one of my friends in Texas have already had issues with ICE. One of my friend's brother in California literally got stopped and was giving a really hard time by ICE officers because he didn't have his passport on him. Then they proceeded to ask him his social security number. Yes, this is the point we've gotten to in our country. It's so disgusting and shameful. And I know people are giving all those, papers saying like, these are your rights. They don't care about anyone's rights. Have you seen those videos of them dragging out American citizens of their van just because they thought they had undocumented people in the van?
So I've been seeing on this app updates that ICE can now raid schools. And if ICE tries to raid schools, take any of my students, take anchor babies, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to do nothing at all. I'm not going to fight a federal agency or federal laws on your children's behalf. I'm not going to risk going to jail and losing my livelihood on behalf of you or your children, because who would take care of mine? And I'm seeing that a lot of Black women are not understanding how to take off the cape. And that's because we've been wearing it so long and just flying that cape so high that we really can't separate ourselves from that role. I will not be doing anything that could potentially negatively impact this household, me, or my children, including protecting yours.
Considering that the ICE raids are happening right now and a lot of immigrants are going to be deported back to their countries, I would like to share my story as an immigrant. I was born in Mexico City, but when I was 4 years old, my dad was offered a job to live in Boston, Massachusetts. Well, in Framingham, Massachusetts. And my parents took it. They decided it was a great opportunity to live abroad, and so we moved as a family when I was 4. We would come to Mexico every 2 years and do all of the legal immigration paperwork in Mexico City because we would first come here. But that year, my parents decided to go through Arizona from the north to the south. And so our date to go to the embassy was going to take place in Nogales in the north, in the border. And I don't know if it was because it was the border. I don't know if it was just bad luck. I don't know if it's because of Obama, that Obama had just entered presidency. I have no idea. But the point is that year, my father did not have a paper. They told him that he had his visa had expired. He was not gonna be able to renew it, and he would have to live in his country of origin for a year before he reapplied for that same visa. And because my dad didn't have the paperwork to be able to apply for another visa and not have that happen, they told him that they were going to cancel our visas. And so, I don't know, now that I see what's going on, my heart really goes out to all of the immigrants that are going to come back to their countries. It's not an easy process to come back. There's a lot of culture shock. It's not, because the country that you left is not the same when you come back. And you as a person are not the same as when you come back.
My family and I immigrated here to the United States from the Philippines about 20 plus years ago, and we did everything legally. Parents obtained their work visas, petitioned us, we got our green cards, and ultimately our US citizenship. Even though we've lived here for more than 20 years, we only obtained our US citizenship last year. The path to citizenship here in the United States is definitely not a walk in the park. I still remember my parents working multiple jobs, even working on the weekends, cleaning offices just so they can pay the immigration lawyers to process our documents. Not only is the US immigration system difficult to navigate, super expensive, but it's very unforgiving.
There is a clear line between an immigrant and a legal, okay? I, myself, who is an immigrant, whose entire family came here legally, does not have any empathy, sympathy for someone like this lady who is crying on CBS. Her story is that she has been here 20 years, has given birth to 3 natural-born citizens. She's been here 20 years and has never taken the initiative to do any paperwork to naturalize herself.
Now, after watching these videos, my heart goes out to these people. I cannot imagine the fear and the panic of any undocumented immigrant right now in the United States. The fear of not knowing whether you'll be able to go back to your children as parents. The fear of even students in school. I've seen one video where a student is worried. They don't know whether they'll find their parents at home. And so it is real fear, and my heart goes out to these people. But that said, I understand the point of these immigrants leaving their home countries and going to the United States. These people are looking for a better lives for their families. No one would leave their home country if it was so good to go and start a life afresh in a land that you don't know nothing about. Personally, I come from Kenya. I cannot see myself right now relocating for no reason, because this is the life that I'm used to. This is what I know. This is where I know how to maneuver. For me to move right now and go to the United States, for example, it will mean everything is new to me. The systems are new, everything. So I believe for these people, and most of them actually are not even bilingual, they just speak their language. For example, if it's Spanish, that is all they know how to speak. And so it is not easy for them. It's not like for me, who I can speak my native language and also English. So it will be hard, but it is manageable. For them, they go there not even knowing a second language, and most of them learn through just watching TVs and listening to the radio and stuff. And so it is hard for them. And I believe for them to choose to move from their home country to that country, it means that life at home is not easy at all. And so I get that point. I understand them. But having said that, when you get to go in such a manner and you become undocumented for so many years, you know that you're living on borrowed time, okay? Any time that you'll be caught, there's a chance you'll be deported. Deportation started a long time ago, not now. And people are acting like people have never been deported. No, the only difference now I feel like is because it is mass deportation. But this is something that has been there. Anytime you're undocumented and you're in a foreign land, there's a chance that you can get back. You can get sent back to your home country. And so people are crying wolf, but I get it. Now, another point that people are really talking about is like, these people are lazy. I've heard someone on TikTok saying like they don't feel any empathy or sympathy towards these people because some of them have been in the United States for like 20 years and they don't have documents, meaning they just wanted to leech on the system. But a point I want to bring up is that these people, when they relocate, they're not like professionals. They're not engineers, they're not doctors, they're not like these high-profile professions. No, they go there to do hard labor jobs, meager jobs. They work in the factories, they work in farms, they work in restaurants. So I am sure it is not easy for them to afford even an immigrant lawyer. Right now, the standards of living everywhere are high. And so if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and it is even hard to keep a roof over your head, because you know in the US right now, it is very hard to keep a roof over your head just working one job. You have to do 2 or 3 jobs to even be able to pay rent. And so if you're asking this person who's doing a meager job, a low-paying job, to pay an immigrant lawyer, surely that is not easy. And so I get it, or I get the point where they live there for so long and they're not able to legalize themselves because it is not cheap. And these people, their first priority is their children. They have to feed their children, they have to keep a roof over their head. And so having to set money aside for this process is not easy. So when people are saying, oh, you just want to leech on the system, that is why you never legalize, I get the point of these people where they're like, it is expensive, and right now our priorities is to keep a roof over our head and food on the table. Another point to note is that ICE is allowed to go into hospitals, schools, into churches, and even daycares. And just in the case of hospitals, for example, it is so saddening to imagine that someone or a patient has gone into the hospitals and they are able to be taken from there. First of all, this person is sick because no one goes to the hospital if they're feeling better. So you're sick and you're worried whether you'll get, first of all, care, or you'll be able to be deported from the hospital. Something else I feel like this thing will bring up is delayed care, because people will be sick but they refuse to go to the hospitals because they're scared. If they're undocumented, what will happen? Yes, if they go to seek care but they find ICE there. So I feel like there are better ways to get these people rather than going into hospitals and forcing them out. Also, I am very conflicted, because how would they know if this person who is documented and who is not? I believe there's something called patient-doctor confidentiality. So I don't know how that will work. I am not a lawyer, so I cannot be able to explain that. But I'm just thinking, like, how would they be able to get this information and know that this person is documented and this person is not? So that, to me, is hard to understand. Also, when it comes to schools, I feel like these people are putting teachers in a corner, because I would feel like they would want to protect the students, but at the end of the day, this teacher has their home, their families, and their children that they also want to protect, and they will not be willing to go to jail because of their students or do something illegal because of their students. So I feel like even if they would be able to find undocumented people in schools, that is not the route to go. There are better means of getting these people. Also in daycare, imagine a child being separated from their parent, because anyone who is in daycare, they're really young, they're really small, they don't even understand what is going on right now. So I don't get how them going into daycares, how that process will work. It just sounds wrong, sounds morally wrong, and just not a thing to do. And so I get the points of both sides, where they feel like you came into this country illegally, you know you were on borrowed time, and your time is up on the side of the government. And I also know the cry of the people, where they're like, we came into this country to find a better living situation for our families because the situation at home was not working. So I get both sides and both arguments, but I would love to hear your opinion on this matter. As I said at the beginning, I am saddened and I feel very empathetic towards these people, but I also know why the government is doing this. Because the more people that are there, the more strenuous it is on their resources. The schools are full, the hospitals, and every other thing. So I get why they want to reduce the number of people, especially those that are undocumented. So I would love for us to continue this discussion. So please go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think on this matter, and let's keep the discussion going. Otherwise, that's it for me. And until next time, the Joe Report out.